Another stop on our gardening tour of northeastern Oklahoma takes us to the Miami Public Library. They've done some really good work around the building itself. There's been a lot of landscaping that has been put in and some interesting plants, and the person responsible for all of this work is a gentleman by the name of J.P. Malocsay. Hello, J.P.
How do you do?
Welcome to our program.
Okay.
So, J.P., you've been working here at the library, and you're a person who was born and raised here in Miami, but you've spent some time in the eastern part of the country?
Yes, I've lived away much of the time, but like many people here, I owe a life debt to this library, and I used to trip up the stairs to the previous one. And they had a landscape problem. I'm here because I have an elderly mother. I'm trying to keep in her house.
Okay.
And so
you moved back to
I moved back to Miami. And the librarians, of course I know them, and so they had some dying shrubs down this way, and things like our beloved euonymus, which everybody has by the half acre.
Okay. Well, I love what you've done to this. This is just taking an old shrub and kind of giving it new life and sprucing it up a little bit.
It's a good beginner's pruning exercise shrub because you can't hurt it, you know, and you can clip it back and it will regrow in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
But it always has scale, which survives and everything.
Yeah,
and,
but
so we're using it temporarily here to stash compost, and we'll do something different. I just did this about 6 weeks ago.
Okay, just giving it some legs and planting some new plants underneath. It just livens up the area.
That's right. This is the north side of the building. It used to be the back entrance. Now we haven't done anything on the front, the old front. This is the new access of the library, is on this north side where people park and walk up this ramp.
Okay.
And then on the south. This is the older part. We began this in April last year.
Okay.
And
well, you've done some great things with twigs here.
Yes.
I see the twig work on the wall and even on the sign here. I mean,
we call it twiggeries. Yeah. And this is our native. It's the pasture cedar that everybody curses.
Okay. The eastern red cedar.
Plenty of it. You got plenty to work with. Out east, I would use. I've worked on estates very often, and I would use a lot of yew and things like that. But you anchor it to the wall and just improvise.
Okay, you just put some screws into the wall.
Yes, lead anchors and screws, very easy to do with a drill. And I do a little workshop thing and explain how you use rebar tie wire that you find in every hardware store.
Okay.
And anyone can do it who has a bit of patience and the linesman's pliers.
JP, the species of clematis.
This is a clematis called Betty Corning.
Betty Corning.
We have a native one that's called Clematis viorna, or it's leather flower, they sometimes call it. But I must warn you, it's very invasive in the garden. It seeds itself around. But I found it down near the river in the park. Okay. And it's really nice.
Very attractive. I like this little vine here you've got on the sign.
This is called chickabiddy or Acerina scandens. There are several Acerinas, and it's tender. Yes. Now we are using a lot of tropical plants because the trade nowadays is really full, as you know, of interesting tropical plants, and I think we should discuss one on the other side that will explain how to be cautious.
I love those tropicals. They handle the heat so well. But this is a winter hardy plant. What have we got here?
That's right. Very good. It's a Carya japonica picta, and everyone has the plain green Carya in town. But this is the variety that needs to get into the trade. Okay, great variegated Japanese rose. Yes, yes. And we come around here, we can see more of the twiggery artwork. These are little step-asides, because in a public garden, if you have a curve like this, someone will walk across, and they promptly did, of course. So we put this up, and this says, please don't step here. Okay. And the logs, I'm an organic gardener, and I build very open soil. Okay. And to keep it that way, I never step on it. So you can. Wow. Now, not every plant likes this, needless to say. That is impressive. But it's and so I never step on the soil. So I use log sections. Okay, to keep from compacting it. Yes, and so I have other things hidden away under the mulch where I know where to step. All right. But nobody else steps. Okay. With the container back here, you've got an interesting combination going. Okay. Yes. You've actually got a pot within the terracotta pot. That's right, a plastic pot. I would ordinarily hide it with a mulch, but for your sake, we've left it uncovered that way. And this way, you can grow something interesting in your little nursery at home, and then change it into the pot where you display something. Like if you had this by your front door, you wanted it to look good at all times, then you could do it that way.
Okay, just when something's not looking good, just pull it out and put something else in that is. You got the twiggery going here again with this large salvia. Which salvia is this?
Guaranitica, and they're selling it as black and blue.
Black and blue.
Wonderful
Okay.
one. But it's very vigorous, like this one, but went in as a simple nursery start last year, and it immediately put out runners like 2 feet around all the way. So I've cut it back, and I will have to be vigilant, and it needs support, as you see. So this thing supports the plant.
Crepe
It's
myrtle
crepe
limbs?
myrtle
Okay.
trimmings.
We prune our crepe myrtles in
prune
the
the crepe myrtles,
springtime.
save
We
it.
can
Yes.
use those. And
then-
up here, what are the what
Well,
are these for?
the birds understand immediately, but people need some assistance. And so this is a bird perch twiggeries. And birds, I'm very keen on bird-friendly gardening. And certain things we can't do here at the library, like having the best way to water the birds, as you know, is a half barrel with a couple of goldfish, and keep it topped up. You don't have to clean the dirty bird water. We have a bird bath around here, but bird baths are such a mess.
Okay, so
but, the birds get the point.
a
Yes.
twiggery with several purposes.
Yes.
Well, right here looks like you've got some black Tuscan kale.
Yes, and they call it dinosaur kale sometimes.
Okay.
But
Very attractive,
Yes, and you
bluish
just
foliage.
whip off a leaf anytime you want. I first saw it in Chicago in the public gardens there. Persian shield, everybody's growing this now, I think. Strobilanthes.
Great tender foliage
And,
plant.
Yes, again, the things that you buy and let go.
Okay, well, I just love this combination of colors, these purples and blues,
Yes.
and down here we got the burgundy glow, ajuga,
That's right.
and
yes.
just
Yes.
interesting colors. I think
and-
just a great combination.
Yes, the rocks, by the way, are fending off the kitty cats because
okay.
because I have such wonderful soil. This became a giant cat box over winter, and so also I use the rocks as here to remind
Put
me that
around the
something
plant.
is new, or if it's a
Okay.
seedling and needs special attention, I put the rocks around temporarily.
Okay.
I wanted to mention this. In the trade now, under this, under various brand names, we have all kinds of beautiful little things like this. The trouble is, you buy them and then you look. This is called Monopsis unidentata, and it comes in this color and a couple of other colors. Trouble is, it belongs in a climate with moist, cool summers, and so
Okay.
it will crump
So it
pretty
looks
quickly here
great in the
right
cool
now.
of the
Yeah.
spring.
And
Almost
you know,
looks
of
like
course,
a
I'm
lobelia.
sure you're promoting this lovely 9-bark.
The 9-bark.
Diablo.
Okay,
Beautiful,
beautiful purple.
but it likes to wilt. I would give it afternoon shade for sure.
Afternoon
It
shade.
really, it's a wilter.
Okay. Well, JP, I understand that you are a proponent of growing plants from seed, and you like things to reseed in the garden. And
That's
we've
right.
got some plants down here on this corner of the library. Well, what are some of these plants?
All right. This is our latest effort. This is very late in the season, as you can see, and if people could get a lot of mileage if they'll let things self-sow.
Save
And
some money.
wander around the garden. You know, this green flowering tobacco there.
Langsdorffii?
Will do it, yes. And here's old-fashioned garden balsam.
Balsam.
It's a kind of impatiens.
Okay, what's the thing with
And,
the big spines on it
Yes,
there?
I think that Stillwater needs to do a bull nettle, Oklahoma tough rough for the climate to garden, and using these things like this. It has spines. It's Solanum atropurpureum.
Attractive purple stems
Yeah,
and petioles.
there's purple stems and spines and things like that. Taking cuttings, another thing. You buy one coleus and you take cuttings and propagate. That's what these come from.
Okay.
And this, I also like plants that are an analogy of a common weed. The little blue dayflower we have, Comelina, this is a Mexican one that kind of stands upright. It's called Tenancia erecta.
Okay, so a
And,
more attractive member of that, or
yeah,
relative
more
of the dayflower?
long-lasting, well, a showier.
Okay.
Yeah, well, gardens,
right.
you know, gardeners are such show-offs.
Yeah. Well,
And,
this area is certainly attractive. I can't wait to see this when it fills in a little bit more. One thing I like is the way you've separated the two mulches there with the piece of wood. We've got the leaf mulch, nice recycled way to keep adding some organic matter,
Yes.
and then the gravel, and just a great garden. What would you call this gardening that you're doing here at the library?
I call it home-style gardening in a public space.
Okay.
Home-style, yes.
All right.
And make those messages.
Okay, and there are the some other folks you'd like to mention.
Yes, it's a friend of the gardens, Friends of the Library garden. We call it Our Library Garden, Read and Grow.
Okay.
And so, yes, but you know, a garden has to have somebody in charge, so I happen to be the one in charge.
Okay, and you occasionally give workshops?
We give slideshows. We have a little newsletter once a month that tries to account for things. And at the continuing education through NEO here, we do a little garden workshop. We did 4 evenings in May. We'll do some later on again.
Okay, well, the folks in this area ought to come out and check you out.
Yeah.
Thanks, JP.
Thank you
I
very
appreciate
much.
the tour.
Okay. Thank you.